What if one of the most powerful things you could do to lower your cancer risk after 50 is not hidden in a bottle, not locked behind an expensive test, and not something only athletes can manage, but something as simple as the way you move your body every single day? I want you to sit with that for a moment, because many older adults are told to watch their numbers, take their medications, and come back in 6 months. And yes, those things matter. But what often gets missed is this: cancer risk does not begin with one dramatic moment. It builds quietly, over years, inside an environment shaped by inflammation, blood sugar swings, excess body fat, poor circulation, low energy use, and cells that are not getting the signals they need to repair well. And that means something deeply hopeful. It means risk is not only about bad luck. It is also about daily biology, daily signals, daily habits. I'm Dr. Thomas Reynolds, and if you're over 50, especially if you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, this may be one of the most important conversations we can have. Because today I want to show you why science keeps pointing back to one remarkably simple habit: walking every day. Not punishing exercise, not complicated routines, not hours in a gym, just consistent, purposeful walking. And I'm not asking you to take this on faith. In this video, I'm going to walk you through why daily walking may help lower cancer risk after 50, what most people misunderstand about it, what changes in the body as we age that make this habit even more valuable, and how to do it in a way that is realistic, safe, and powerful for older adults. Stay with me, because the most surprising part is not that walking helps, it's why it helps, and how even small amounts done consistently may begin changing the internal environment your cells live in. And later, I'm going to share the mistake many well-meaning seniors make when they try to be more active, but never get the full benefit. If you're watching today, I'd love to know where you're joining from, and your age if you feel comfortable sharing it. Not for vanity, for community. Because healthy aging is not a solo journey, and sometimes it helps to remember that other people are walking this road with you. Now let's start with the first thing most people get wrong. Number 1, walking is not just exercise. It is a signal to the entire body. This is where the misunderstanding begins. Many people think of walking as something you do for your joints or your heart or to burn a few calories. And yes, it can support all of those things. But after 50, walking becomes much more than movement. It becomes information. Every step you take sends signals through your muscles, blood vessels, hormones, immune system, digestive system, and even your brain. Your body is constantly asking, what kind of environment am I living in? And walking answers that question in a very important way. It tells the body, use the fuel, move the blood, stabilize the sugar, reduce the backlog, maintain the repair systems. Think of it like opening the windows in a closed house. When you sit too long, day after day, the air inside gets stale. Systems slow down. Blood sugar lingers. Circulation becomes sluggish. Inflammatory signals rise. Over time, that internal stale air may create conditions that are less protective and more favorable to long-term disease, including certain cancers. Walking helps air the place out. Not perfectly, not magically, but meaningfully. And for older adults, that matters even more, because after 50, the body becomes less forgiving. Muscle mass gradually declines. Insulin sensitivity often worsens. Recovery slows. Fat is more likely to collect around the abdomen. And that deep abdominal fat is metabolically active. In plain English, it doesn't just sit there. It sends out chemical messages, many of them inflammatory. That matters because chronic inflammation has been linked to higher risk for several diseases, including cancer. So when you walk every day, you are not just moving your legs. You are changing the conversation inside your body. And that brings us to the second reason this habit matters so much. Number 2, daily walking helps control blood sugar. And that matters more than most people realize. A lot of people hear blood sugar and think only about diabetes. But blood sugar is not just a diabetes issue. It is a whole body issue. When glucose, the sugar in your blood, rises sharply and often, your body has to release more insulin to manage it. Insulin is a useful hormone. You need it. But chronically elevated insulin and poor glucose control are not ideal conditions for healthy aging. Over time, those patterns may contribute to weight gain, inflammation, and cellular stress. In simpler terms, if blood sugar is bouncing up and down all day, your body is working overtime just to keep things stable. Walking helps because your muscles act like sponges. When you use them, they pull sugar out of the bloodstream and use it for energy. That means even a modest walk can help reduce post-meal glucose spikes. And after 50, that can be a quiet but powerful advantage. This is one reason I often tell older patients that the timing of walking can matter almost as much as the walking itself. A short walk after a meal, especially after lunch or dinner, may be particularly helpful. You do not need to march around the neighborhood for an hour. Even 10 to 15 minutes after eating can support better glucose handling in many older adults. That is important because it turns the idea of exercise from something overwhelming into something doable. You eat. You wait a little while if needed. You walk. Simple, repeatable, sustainable. And when something is sustainable, it becomes protective. But blood sugar is only part of the picture. The next piece may be even more important for cancer risk after 50. Number 3, walking may help lower chronic inflammation, the slow burn that ages the body from the inside. Inflammation is a word people hear all the time now, but let me put it in plain language. Acute inflammation is helpful. If you cut your finger, inflammation helps repair it. But chronic inflammation is different. It is like a smoke alarm that keeps chirping all day and all night, even when there is no fire you can see. Over time, that constant low-level inflammatory state can wear the body down. And this becomes more common with age. Less muscle, more sitting, poor sleep, increased abdominal fat, stress, and certain chronic conditions can all push inflammation upward. Many older adults do not feel inflammation directly. They feel the consequences: fatigue, stiffness, slower recovery, brain fog, achy joints, worsening metabolic health. Walking helps cool some of that internal noise. Why? Because regular movement improves circulation, supports healthier body composition, helps the body use fuel more efficiently, and may reduce some of the inflammatory chemicals associated with inactivity and excess visceral fat. In everyday language, Walking helps your systems communicate better and jam less often. Think of it like traffic. When traffic is locked up, everything backs up. Deliveries are delayed. Stress rises. Nothing moves efficiently. But when traffic flows, the whole city works better. Walking improves flow, blood flow, lymphatic flow, energy flow, signal flow. And yes, that may matter when it comes to long-term cancer risk. Not because walking is a cure, it is not, but because healthier internal conditions may be less favorable to the kinds of biological disruptions that accumulate over time. Now here is where many viewers start to think, "Doctor, I understand the science, but I'm older now. My knees hurt. My energy is lower. What if I can't do very much?" That brings us to the fourth truth. Number 4, the power of walking after 50 is not perfection. It is consistency. This is where so many people give up too early. They think if they cannot do 8,000 or 10,000 steps, it does not count. If they cannot walk fast, it does not count. If they need a cane, a walker, or frequent breaks, it does not count. That is simply not true. Your body responds to what you do repeatedly, not what you do once in a burst of motivation. A 5-minute walk done 3 times a day is still movement. A slower walk with good posture and regular breathing is still movement. Walking in a hallway, around your yard, in a shopping center, or even laps inside your home during bad weather is still movement. What matters is that the signal keeps arriving. I have seen older adults transform the trajectory of their health not by becoming extreme, but by becoming steady. They stop asking, "What is the most impressive thing I can do?" and start asking, "What is the most faithful thing I can do every day?" That question changes everything. If you are currently sedentary, your first goal is not fitness, it is interruption. Interrupt long sitting. Break up the stillness. Wake the muscles up. Ask the body to participate in its own protection again. A good starting plan for many older adults looks like this. 5 to 10 minutes after 1 or 2 meals each day at a pace that allows you to talk but still feel like you are truly moving. If that becomes comfortable, gradually build toward 20 to 30 minutes most days of the week. If balance is a concern, use a safe indoor route, supportive shoes, and a stable walking aid if needed. And please hear me clearly. Progress counts even when it is humble, especially when it is humble. Now before we go to the next point, if this kind of practical, evidence-aware health guidance helps you feel calmer and more in control, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. Not because it helps me nearly as much as it may help you. When good information shows up in your feed at the right time, it can change the choices you make this week. And sometimes that changes much more than you realize. Number 5, walking supports healthy weight and hormone balance. And this becomes increasingly important with age. Many people do not realize that body fat is not just stored energy. It is biologically active tissue. It influences hormones, inflammatory signals, and metabolism. And after menopause in women, and with aging in men as well, shifts in hormone patterns can change how and where fat is stored. This matters because excess weight, especially around the middle, has been associated with higher risk for several cancers. Again, I want to be careful here. This is not about shame. This is not about appearance. This is not about chasing a younger body. It is about understanding that the metabolic environment around your organs matters. Walking helps support a healthier weight, not only by using energy, but by improving appetite regulation, stabilizing blood sugar, protecting muscle mass when paired with adequate protein, and reducing the all-or-nothing cycle that often follows extreme exercise plans. In older adults, the goal is not burn as much as possible. The goal is support the system without overloading it. That is why walking is so valuable. It is gentle enough for many seniors to do regularly, but meaningful enough to influence the systems that matter. And here is something else people rarely think about. Walking often improves decision making. When you walk consistently, you sleep a little better. Your mood may improve. Your digestion may improve. You may feel more capable. And when people feel more capable, they often make better food choices, drink more water, and stay more engaged in their own care. One healthy action pulls the next one forward. That is how real life works, not through one miracle change, but through momentum. And now we come to one of the most overlooked parts of this entire conversation. Number 6, walking may help the immune system do its job more effectively. Your immune system is not only there to fight off colds, it also plays a role in surveillance. In other words, it helps identify and respond to cells that are abnormal or behaving in ways they should not. That system is incredibly complex, and no single habit controls it. But regular physical activity has been studied for its effect on immune function, inflammation, and overall resilience. Here is the simple version. When you move regularly, many of the body's maintenance systems work better. Circulation improves, which means immune cells move through the body more effectively. Stress hormones may become better regulated. Sleep may improve. Metabolic strain may decrease. All of that helps create a more stable internal environment. And stability matters more as we age. After 60 and 70, many people notice they do not bounce back the way they used to. Illness lingers longer. Energy returns more slowly. Weakness comes faster after periods of bed rest or inactivity. That is exactly why a gentle, regular habit can be so protective. It does not have to be dramatic to be important. This is also why stopping movement completely after a health scare can sometimes backfire. Of course, serious illness, chest pain, unexplained weight loss, bleeding, or significant fatigue should always be evaluated by a physician. And if you have cancer, heart disease, severe arthritis, lung disease, or balance problems, your walking plan should be personalized with medical guidance. But in many older adults, safe movement remains part of the support strategy, not the enemy of it. And that leads us to the mistake I promised I would share. Number 7, the biggest mistake is thinking the weekend can make up for the week. This is such a common pattern. People sit most of the day all week long, then try to be good once or twice. A longer walk on Saturday, a burst of motivation on Monday, then back to long periods of stillness. The body does not respond to intentions. It responds to patterns. If you water a plant once a week and ignore it the rest of the time, it does not thrive. Your tissues are not that different. They need regular input. regular circulation, regular muscle use, regular metabolic cleanup. That is why the title of this video matters so much. The power is in the word daily. Daily does not mean perfect. Daily means built into the rhythm of your life. Maybe that means a walk after breakfast and dinner. Maybe it means parking a little farther away. Maybe it means walking during phone calls. Maybe it means one extra lap down the hallway every time you use the bathroom. Maybe it means starting so small that your mind cannot argue with it. That still counts. In fact, that is often how lasting change begins. So let me give you a very simple formula to carry with you. First, choose a time you can repeat. After meals is often excellent. Second, start below your pride. In other words, begin with an amount so manageable that you will actually do it. Third, protect the habit more than the distance. Consistency first, progress second. Fourth, walk with purpose but not panic. You should feel engaged, not punished. And fifth, let the habit expand naturally. A few more minutes, a slightly steadier pace, a little more confidence. That is how independence is preserved. Quietly, daily, intentionally. Because in the end, this is not just about cancer. It is about remaining the kind of person who can get up, move through the day, trust your legs, trust your lungs, trust your balance, trust your energy, and keep participating in your own life. It is about keeping choices open, keeping dignity intact, keeping fear from making your world smaller. Science may confirm the value of this habit, but your life gives it meaning. Every walk is a vote for circulation, a vote for steadier blood sugar, a vote for lower inflammation, a vote for stronger muscles, a vote for clearer thinking, a vote for a body that is still being used, still being challenged, still being cared for. And if you are starting late, let me reassure you, late is not the same as useless. The body is often more responsive than people think. Not infinitely, not magically, but meaningfully. Especially when you stop chasing dramatic change and start honoring consistent change. So if you take one thing from me today, let it be this. After 50, and especially after 60, the simple habit of walking every day may be one of the most practical ways to help lower cancer risk while also supporting the very things you care about most: energy, mobility, confidence, and independence. Small actions still matter. Gentle habits still matter. Your daily choices still matter. And you are not too old for that truth to work in your favor. If this message spoke to you, tell me in the comments, when do you think you could fit in your daily walk? Morning, after meals, or evening? I read those comments and I love seeing this community encourage one another. And if you want more clear, respectful guidance on healthy aging, subscribe and join me for the next video. Until then, take care of your body with patience, take care of your future with consistency, and never underestimate what one simple habit can begin to change.